XLI. The Messenger's Retrospect. The messenger continues and refers to the feuds of Swedes and Geats. The blood-stained trace of Swedes and Geatmen, the death rush of warmen, widely was noticed. How the folks with each other feud did awaken. The worthy one went then with well-beloved comrades, 5 old and dejected to go to the fastness. Ongentheow Earl upward then turned him of Hygelack's battle he'd heard on inquiry. The exultant one's prowess despaired of resistance, with earls of the ocean to be able to struggle, 10 gainst sea-going sailors to save the hoard treasure, his wife and his children. He fled after thensward old, 'neath the earth wall. Then was offered pursuance to the braves of the Swedemen, the banner to Hygelack. They fared then forth o'er the field of protection, 15, when the hreathling heroes hedgeward had thronged them. Then with edges of irons was Ongentheow driven, the grey-haired Tatari, that the troop ruler had to suffer the power solely of Eofor. Wulf wounds Ongentheow. Wulf then wildly with weapon assaulted him, 21 rid his son, that for swinge of the edges the blood from his body burst out in currents, forth 'neath his hair. He feared not, however, grey-headed Salfing, but speedily quieted. Ongentheow gives a stout blow in return. The wasting wound stroke with worse exchange, 25 when the king of the Thane troop thither did turn him. The wise-mooted son of Wunrid was powerless to give a return blow to the age-hoary man, but his head-shielding helmet first hewed he to pieces, that flecked with gore perforce he did totter, 30 fell to the earth. Not fey was he yet then, but up did he spring though an edge-wound had reached him. Eofor smites Ongentheow fiercely. Then Hygelack's vassal, valiant and dauntless, when his brother lay dead, made his broad-bladed weapon giant sword ancient, defense of the giants, 35 bound o'er the shield wall. The folk prince succumbed then. Ongentheow is slain. Shepherd of people, was pierced to the vitals. There were many attendants who bound up his kinsman, carried him quickly when occasion was granted that the place of the slain they were suffered to manage. 40 this pending, one hero plundered the other. His armor of iron from Ongentheow ravished, his hard sword hilted and helmet together. Eofor takes the old king's war gear to Hygelack. The old one's equipments he carried to Hygelack. He the jewels received, and rewards mid the troopers 45 graciously promised, and so did accomplish. The king of the Weders requited the war rush, Hrethel's descendant, when home he repaired him. Hygelack rewards the brothers. To Eofor and Wulf with wide lavish treasures, to each of them granted 100 of thousands 50 in land, and rings wrought out of wire. His gifts were beyond cavil. None upon mid-earth needed to twit him with the gifts he gave them, when glory they conquered. To Eofor he also gives his only daughter in marriage. And to Eofor then gave he his one only daughter, the honor of home, as an earnest of favor. 55 That's the feud and hatred as when 'twill happen the anger of earthmen, that earls of the Swedemen will visit on us, when they hear that our leader lifeless is lying, he who long time protected his hoard and kingdom, gainst hating assailers, 60 who on the fall of the heroes defended of yore the deed mighty Scyldings, did for the troopers what best did avail them, and further moreover. It is time for us to pay the last marks of respect to our lord. Hero deeds complished. Now is haste most fitting, that the lord of liegemen we look upon yonder, 65, and that one carry on journey to death pyre, who ring presents gave us. Not out of it all shall melt with the brave when there's a mass of bright jewels, gold beyond measure, gruesomely purchased and ending it all ornamentrings 270 bought with his life. These fire shall devour, flame shall cover, no earlman shall wear a jewel memento, nor beautiful virgin have on her neck rings to adorn her. But wretched in spirit bereaved of gold gem 75, she shall oft with others be exiled and banished, since the leader of liegemen hath laughter forsaken, mirth and merriment. Hence many a war spear cold from the morning shall be clutched in the fingers, heaved in the hand, no harp music sound shall 80 waken the warriors, but the wan-coated raven fain over fey ones freely shall gabble, shall say to the eagle how he sped in the eating, when, the wolf his companion, he plundered the slain. So the high-minded hero was rehearsing these stories 85 loathsome to hear. He lied as to few of. The warriors go sadly to look at Beowulf's lifeless body. Weirds and of words. All the war troop arose then, neath the eagle's cape sadly betook them, weeping and woeful, the wonder to look at. They saw on the sand then soulless a lying, 90 his slaughter bed holding, him who rings had given them in days that were done. Then the death-bringing moment was come to the good one, that the king very warlike, wielder of wetters, with wonder death perished. First they beheld there a creature more wondrous. They also see the dragon. 95 the worm on the field, in front of them lying, the foeman before them. The fire-spewing dragon, ghostly and grisly guessed in his terrors, was scorched in the fire. As he lay there he measured 50 of feet. Came forth in the night time 100 to rejoice in the air, thereafter departing to visit his den. He in death was then fastened, he would joy in no other earth-hollowed caverns. There stood round about him beakers and vessels, dishes were lying and dear-valued weapons, 105 with iron rust eaten, as in earth's mighty bosom 1,000 of winters there they had rested. The hoard was under a magic spell. That mighty bequest then with magic was guarded, gold of the ancients, that earlman not any the ring hall could touch, save ruling God only, 110 sooth king of victories, gave whom he wished to. God alone could give access to it. He is earth folk's protector, to open the treasure, and to such among mortals as seemed to him proper. For Goda, which seems a surprising epithet for a Geat to apply to the terrible Ongentheo B. Suggests Gomla, the passage would then stand, the old one went then, etc. For Senhidlace, KTH and B. Propose Senhidlaces, meaning, Hygelac's banner followed the Swedes in pursuit, S. Suggests seek Hygelaces and renders, Hygelac's pursuit the H so. Reading, as translated in our text, means that the banner of the enemy was captured and brought to Hygelac as a trophy. The rendering given in this translation represents the king as being generous beyond the possibility of reproach, but some authorities construe him, 2996, as Plu, and understand the passage to mean that no one reproached the two brothers with having received more reward than they were entitled to. The name Scyldingas here, 3006, has caused much discussion and given rise to several theories, the most important of which are as follows. 1. After the downfall of Hrothgar's family, Beowulf was king of the Danes, or Scyldings. 2. For Scyldingas read, Sylfingas that is, after killing Egils, the Sylfing prince, Beowulf conquered his land and held it in subjection. 3m. Considers 3006, a thoughtless repetition of 2053. Cf. H so. B. Takes nits and H Willem, 3045 as separate adverbial cases and renders, joy in the air had he of yore by night, etc. He thinks that the idea of vanished time ought to be expressed. The parenthesis is by some amended so as to read, 1. He, i.e. God is the hope of men, 2. He is the hope of heroes. GR's reading has no parenthesis but says, could touch unless God himself, true king of victories, gave to whom he would to open the treasure, the secret place of enchanters, etc. The last is rejected on many grounds.